everyone, and welcome back to the library. I'm Laura, and no, I'm not dead. So the last time I filmed video was in March, I believe, and it was my March part 1 wrap-up, and maybe it was that one or it was the book haul that I did. But anyways, it's been like 2 months since I've uploaded a video, and I would apologize, but not really, because I've been super busy. Most of you who have been watching my channel know that I got married in April. You can see my wedding ring, my awesome husband sitting over there trying to be quiet and ignoring me. So anyways, so yeah, we got married. It was great. It rained on our wedding day, but you know what? That's not what matters. I got to marry the man of my dreams, so that's all that matters. So we had our wedding, and then we went on our honeymoon, and then after that we came back, and I had to go back to work. I went back to work about a week after we got married, and he started his job at the same place that I work at about a week after that. So it was really good. He was able to find a job, but this is the busy time for both of us, for what I do and for what he's doing. So I've just been really tired. We've been having to work on a lot of stuff, with me having to, you know, get my name changed on stuff and everything, and I've already had to work some overtime at work, so it's just been kind of crazy, and I haven't had a lot of time to film. The other reason that I haven't been filming is because I kind of went into a really bad reading slump. So I did read quite a bit after that March wrap-up part 1, but then after that I just wasn't happy with a lot of the books I was reading. I was DNFing books that I knew I wanted to read, but I just wasn't enjoying at the time. So it was just bad. Like, I was reading 3 different books right before the wedding, and I just completely removed them from Goodreads and added them back to my want to read, cleared the slate. I'll start them again some other day. I've just now started reading a book again. I've just been kind of in a slumpy mood, so you know, I kind of had to think about what I want to do with this channel and what I want to do with my reading life. I've been removing a lot of books from Goodreads. I'm going through and being like, I don't even remember adding that book, I don't remember what it's about. Reading some of the synopsis and being like, not interested in that anymore. So that makes me feel a little better, because having almost 800 books on my want to read list was kind of terrifying. So I did that, and I told myself that pretty much I'm going to be reading 1 book at a time, at least reading one and maybe listening to an audiobook. But I knew I shouldn't have done the try to read more than 1 book at a time anyway, and it just doesn't work for me. So I'm just gonna have to read 1 book at a time. You know, like I said, I was in a slump. It was so bad that I wasn't even watching BookTube, because I was scared to add more books to my want to read list. I mean, I wasn't even watching my favorites like April from Getting Hooked With It and Sean from Eclectic Reads. I just ignored all videos and have kind of been slowly catching up on them. So hopefully I can get all caught up eventually. I'm feeling a lot better about my reading, and hopefully I can get some more stuff read soon. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do just like a little catch up on what I did read past that March wrap up part 1. Just go ahead and get that out so I don't do a separate one for that, since it's been so long, and I'll talk about what I'm reading now. So the next book that I read after that wrap up was Saga Volume 8. Sorry, I still don't know how to insert pictures into my videos, because I do all my editing on my phone, but thankfully my husband has a bunch of, as he says, burner phones, so I'll just show pictures from that, because I hated not even being able to show what it looks like. So I'm sorry if it looks bad, but that's just what we have to do right now. If you'd rather me just not show pictures at all, let me know, but that's what I'm going to do for now until I'm told otherwise. So like I said, the first one was Saga Volume 8. I've talked about Saga a lot on here before. so I'm not going to talk much more about it, but I did like this 8th edition and I gave it 4 stars. Next, I read a bunch of horror short stories and novellas by Keelan Patrick Burke, and this is all the fault of Rachel from Shades of Orange because she was talking about them. So I read 4 of his short stories and novellas. And the first one that I read was Sour Candy. And this was a super creepy little story about this guy who goes out to the supermarket and encounters this woman with a very bratty child, and the woman looks just disheveled and kind of homeless. And then he gets in a wreck on the way home with this woman, and then somehow after this boy follows him home and becomes his son, basically. It's super creepy, and there's a lot more to it than that. It wasn't my favorite of the bunch, and I did end up giving it 3.5 stars. So it wasn't bad. I did like it, but it wasn't my favorite of the bunch. I also read the short story Offline by him, and this one is just a chat log. It's really short. Two teenagers chatting, and stuff gets kind of creepy. I really liked this one, gave it 4 stars, and then he did kind of a follow-up, which is Offline Part 2 in the Flesh, and this was kind of the same thing, but you know, it's kind of like we're gonna actually meet up sort of thing. Also creepy. Also gave this one 4 stars, but like I said, it is in a chat log format, so if you don't like that, you might not enjoy it, but I thought it was pretty creepy and a good little story. And the last one of his that I read was Blanky, and this was a short story. Well, this one was more of a novella. This one was a little longer, and I really liked this one. This is about a man whose wife has left him after their baby died, and one night he hears something really creepy, and he goes upstairs and he finds their baby's favorite blanket, and from there things get really creepy. Like I said, I really enjoyed this one. It would be great for a short horror story or even a horror movie. I really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars. The only reason it didn't get 5 stars was because of some of the editing that was a little bit off. Some things didn't get caught that should have, but I found it really creepy and just great writing. So after that, I was in like a really big mood to read horror, and I went to the library and was just trying to find a bunch of horror books to read, and I was just walking through and kind of picking up books that looked interesting, and I found Rooms by Lauren Oliver, and started reading it and hated it and DNF'd it. I knew nothing about it before, and I really just shouldn't have picked it up. I liked the cover, that was mostly why. But this was about a family who goes back to their father's / ex-husband's house to, you know, start to get things together because he's passed away, and sell his stuff. And there are these 2 ghosts that, you know, still live in the house and speak through, you know, the floorboards and the furnace and stuff. But I didn't get very far, but I was not liking it at all. It was really boring, and I had no problem just going ahead and DNFing it. Next, and this is a big one, I finally read 1984 by George Orwell. Now, I did read this my junior year in high school, but in high school I was really bad about DNFing books. Like, I would just not finish them. A lot of them I would get near the end, and then it would be like, well, it's time for us to move on to the next book, so I just wouldn't even finish it. So this is one that I was like, I never finished it, and it's such a big book, I don't remember much about it, and it's so important. So I was like, I'm finally gonna reread this, and I ended up reading / listening to it. And I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. The only part I didn't like was the part where he's reading the book, like the little manifesto. That part is so boring and horrible. I was like, George, why'd you have to write a book within a book? But yeah, I still think it's a really important book. The thing that was annoying though was I think I was like 10 pages from the end in my junior year. I think I was so close to the end and just didn't finish it. I really had a problem back then. Next, I read Down a Dark Hall by Lois Duncan. And I heard about this book on the Books in the Freezer podcast, which is hosted by Rachel from The Shades of Orange and Stephanie from That's What She Read. And I really love their podcast. You should check it out if you haven't. But for some reason, I'd never read any Lois Duncan, didn't really know who she was. She wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I was really interested in this book. It's about a girl named Kit who goes to this mansion turned school out in the country, and she's not really happy about it. Her parents are going off on their honeymoon, like in Europe, which is going to be like months long. So she goes to this school, and it's really creepy and big, and something just seems weird about it. She automatically wants to read because it seems demonic. But her parents make her stay, of course, and so she stays, and the next day she learns that there are only 4 students. It's only her and 3 other girls, and that just seems fishy, and the house is just big, and it's dark, and it's secluded, and they can't leave, and things just get creepier and creepier, and I don't want to give too much away, but I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 stars. The only thing that was somewhat weird is that Lois Duncan edited these books to bring them into the future, which is just really funny and kind of weird. I don't really know why I read the edited version, but in the original version, they didn't have technology because I think these were written in the 70s, so there were no cell phones or computers, personal computers or anything. So she added those things in, and then like the love interest, apparently in the original they're like he was, brooding, but he was in pinstripe bell bottoms, and in this one he's in black skinny jeans, and it was really weird. I think I would have rather just read the original, but I mean I kind of see what she's doing if she still wants teenagers to be reading them. But like I said, I really enjoyed this. It was a good little young adult horror novel. Wasn't too scary, but it was pretty original, and I like her writing a lot. I'm going to have to read more from her. Next, I read The Silence by Tim Levin, and this is a horror book that I found about from April from Getting Hooked with It. She read it, I think, earlier last year, and I believe she liked it pretty well. So this book is about these monsters that were basically trapped underground, and when this company goes to do an excavation of these underground caves, they are released, and they're these small monsters, and they're called vesps, and they hunt by sound. This may seem familiar from a movie that just came out, A Quiet Place, but it is different. Like I said, these are small little monsters, and the story is similar, but it's not the same, and they are supposed to be coming out with a movie of A Quiet Place too, so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, sorry, got a little off track. So there's this family, and they are in the UK, and when the vesps are about to reach them, they leave their home with a friend and start to travel more inwards and to try to escape or to find a safer place. So this is just about their escape and everything that happens to them. I can't say much more because a lot of it would be a spoiler, but it was a good little horror book. I gave it 4 stars. It's probably more of like a 3.75 than 4 because parts of it were kind of repetitive and kind of annoying. It wasn't as good as, say, like Bird Box or some of the other horror books I've read, but I really did enjoy it. I think Tim Levin is a pretty good writer. The next book that I read is the only one I own from this list, and that is The Princess Saves Herself in this one, and this is a poetry collection by Amanda Lovelace. Now, I only ended up giving this 2 stars. I didn't enjoy it. I don't like poetry that much anyway, and I just really don't like this modern type of poetry that's gotten popular. It's just kind of weird. It had some good themes in it, and but besides that, I just really didn't enjoy the type of poetry, and I will be getting rid of this soon. And the last book that I read before my little slump and break was The Body Artist by Don DeLeo. And this was a short little book that I just decided to listen to on audiobook. And this was a strange little book. This is about a woman who is a body artist, and her husband ends up committing suicide. And eventually she finds this man living in the house she's staying in that can somehow tell her everything that she and her husband had talked about. And it was strange, kind of hard to follow on audio. It wasn't bad per se. I gave it 3 stars. I just don't think it's my type of literature. So those are all the books that I read after that March wrap up, and like I said, had a little slump, had a little break from reading, and I finally picked up a book from the library, and I picked up Hey Mom, Stories for My Mother, but you can read them too, by Louis Anderson. My husband and I found Louis Anderson on the Comedy Central channel on YouTube from This Is Not Happening, and he talked about his brother and his mom and dad, and we just thought it was hilarious. We were traveling last weekend and we listened to one of his shows on the way back to our hometown, and I saw that he had just come out with this book, and so I decided to read it. Like I said, Louis Anderson is a comedian. He's in the show Baskets, which I've never seen, but it sounds pretty funny, and he plays Zach Galifianakis' mother, and he's pretty much emulating his mom in that. He grew up in a family of 11, and his mom was apparently the sweetest person ever, and his dad was an abusive alcoholic, so it was a very interesting and sad situation he grew up in. But he's really funny, and I really enjoy his humor, and this book is good. It has some comedy in it, but it also has some really sad moments. But I'm about 60 pages in, so I just started last night, so I'm really enjoying this one. Anyways, this was just my little catch up about my life, what's been happening, and what I've read and what I'm reading now. I hope to be uploading some more videos really soon. I'm going to try to even film some more tonight if I can. But I just really wanted to finally come back. I was missing filming videos and being able to talk to all my booktube friends. So here I am. Let me know what all you've been reading and what you've really enjoyed during this break that I've been gone. Let me know any videos you'd like me to film, any tags or anything, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching so much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Have a great day and a great week. I love you all. Like I said, see you in the next video. Bye.